So the Orlando Magic signed Franz Wagner to this massive 5-year, $224 million contract extension the other day. And I've seen this deal get a ton of pushback on the internet, people asking themselves, how is Franz making this type of money? Well, it's because he's elite. I think he's one of those underrated stars in today's NBA, worth every penny of this deal. And I'm going to go through the film and break down why. And I want to start off with his slashing and finishing, because I think these are truly elite skills in the compound base of his offensive skill set. So Orlando runs him in a ton of these off-ball actions to kind of get him like handoffs and whatnot. And it's not for the reason that like the Warriors will run Stephen Clay off-ball actions trying to get those guys open movement threes. It's actually the complete opposite. Franz really doesn't shoot movement threes. It's just to get him a step on his defender and create open lanes for him to attack downhill. Here you'll see his defender, Chris Dunn, I believe that is, trailing him by a step. So Franz has got an open lane to attack. He diagnoses it immediately off the catch. And then I love what he does to John Collins here. So John Collins is the guy on the block defending him. And he immediately shoves kind of his hip in lower half into John Collins's high hip area. And what this does is it doesn't allow John Collins to get vertical. As you can see, John Collins barely gets off the ground here. So it kind of hampers John Collins's contest attempt here at the rim. And it opens up some space for Wagner. Now he does have this guy on his left shoulder to worry about, but look at what Franz does here. He absorbs that contact as the number 0 comes down on him here, because his upper body is just so strong, and he has no problem finishing with his right hand on the left side of the hoop. The reverse layups are no problem for Franz. He has mastered it in all sorts of those unique angles, as you're going to see in these next few clips. Here he's operating the pick and roll, which he runs pick and roll even more than those off-ball handoffs and whatnot that I just showed in the last clip. He is pretty much the primary pick and roll guy for Orlando, and just the way he can snake and split these screens is like crazy. His handle is so unique for a 6'10 guy. And here you can see he's playing with a little bit of pace. He's going to let Mo Wagner settle in to the short roll here and make himself a little bit of a threat. But he's also getting his defender on his back hip and creating an angle to split these two defenders with a Euro step. And now he's got to worry about yet another defender, because fun fact, the Magic have terrible spacing, okay? So these lanes are constantly clogged. But that's no problem for Franz because he's so crafty. He hits him with another Euro. And at this point, that's great, okay? You split two kind of double teams, two defenders. That's awesome. But how are you going to finish at this angle, right? You're already midway through the air. Pascal Siakam's still getting some sort of contest on this. And now you're fading away to the right side of the hoop at a pretty bad angle here. But again, it doesn't matter for Franz because his touch from all sorts of these different angles is amazing. He's so unique as a finisher. Here he's in transition. Jeremy Sohan kind of one-on-one. You do have to worry about Devin Vassell kind of coming down the lane there as well if he decides to go with the reverse layup, which, shocker, he does. But Franz, again, really crafty with his dribble, where he gets Jeremy Sohan thinking this is kind of a power dribble. He shows power dribble to the left, gets Jeremy Sohan pretty much committed to that left-hand layup, and Franz, again, nasty Euro, spins him around. Now Sohan's in a terrible spot to make a contest. You do have to worry about Vassell a little bit here, but Wagner's able to hang in the air, hang on to this ball until it basically reaches the glass. Then he lets it go. And again, that's why his shot is so hard to block, because he takes those unique angles. And then again, when there is a contest near the rim and you've got a guy like Devin Vassell that's got some running room to get up there and potentially pin it on the glass, Wagner's going to have the instincts to immediately hold on to the ball as long as possible and let go as soon as it's about to hit the backboard, leaving extremely, like a split second for you to potentially get a palm on that thing and glass that ball. Very, very instinctual finish. Here he's attacking off the catch, and this is just a display of his touch again. Finishing through crazy, crazy traffic, as we talked about. The lanes are crazy. I love this hang to the left here, because this is a very vertical contest from the rim protector. So Franz is going to get this ball out of his wingspan, out of his blocking radius. And he has, again, the touch to finish at that crazy of an angle. That's an and one. And this is the last finishing clip I'll show. Crunch time, Nikola Vucevic, not really a great defender, but regardless, a big man, even bigger than Franz Wagner. You're just going to see Franz power his way to the right here, gives Vooch a little bump, and then I love the deceleration. You feel Vooch really committing to that drive. So he's so crafty with cutting off those drives and hitting little euros that send the defenders flying. I really like the deceleration. And again, the finish, he has the touch to finish from all sorts of those different angles. And then there's the passing. So his passing isn't really like number one initiator of an offense good, but it is still very, very good, especially for a 6'10 forward that you're kind of leaning on to be your second option for the future. Here, again, pick and roll with Goga Bitadze. Franz is going to scoop high to avoid this dig near the nail. Then you've got the big man, I believe that's Day'Ron Sharpe, in a bind here, because Franz has a lot of gravity when he's going to the rim. And what Franz is going to do is kind of sell a potential shot here. He gets the big man completely committed, and now he knows he's got Goga Bitadze open on the block because he got this big man to commit. And as soon as he does, he's able to make a wraparound pass in the air. It's a nice little dump-off pass. Good read from Franz. Again, running the pick and roll. This is a really crafty bounce pass. They're showing high on him because Franz is a threat to pull up in the mid-range. And you don't really want him getting a full head of steam to the basket because that's when his power can really, you want to kind of cut those things off. So they show high at the level here, or I should say more like the high mid-range. This isn't quite the level, but regardless, you've got Wendell Carter rolling to the hoop, Franz with a little bit of eye manipulation, and this is just such a quick, slick dump-off pass, bounce pass, and it's perfectly placed. Good set there from the Magic. And then again, these like little dribble handoffs where Franz has the ability to hit lobs. It's fun running inverted pick and rolls with him because, again, he's 6'10". There's not many 6'10 guys operating the pick and roll, even in today's era with the number going up. But he's able to do that. This is two big dudes, and one of them has the ability to get downhill, finish with touch, and pass from a multitude of angles. And then here, I believe this is... Oh, yeah, I know what this is. This is some crazy eye manipulation from Franz. You can see Suggs rolls his way open. Down below here, he's wide open in the restricted area. And Franz completely looks this thing off. The help defense is committing to Wendell Carter on the wing. And Jalen Suggs just slips by, wide open. Franz does a great job utilizing his eyes to keep the help defense away from recovering. And this isn't a perfectly placed pass. It's a little low below the basket, but below the backboard, I should say. But regardless, it's great eye manipulation and a good enough pass. And then this is just one more. Nothing crazy here, but it's perfectly placed to Paulo. Leads him away from CJ McCollum, his defender, and right into an easy two at the bucket. So his passing, again, it's very, very good. It's not quite elite. He doesn't have like an elite drive and kick game to go along with his elite slashing and finishing, but it is definitely very, very good. And then to go along with his feel, he's awesome off the ball as well. Now, you've seen some of the off-ball scoring with him, like he can attack some closeouts and he's able to attack off those dribble handoffs and whatnot. But his feel for when to like relocate along the perimeter and also cut is awesome. He is a great, great, great cutter. Here, his defender is tagging on this kind of pick and roll, which hasn't even fully developed yet. It's looking kind of ugly at this point. But he's the help side defender. Franz is left alone in the corner. But as soon as this defender turns his head back around, Franz knows it's time to cut. And this is a perfectly timed cut because typically when your guard kind of gets into the lane like this, either, yeah, you can stay there for the three, but you can see Markel's looking to the corner. Franz's defender's ready to recover back to the corner. Franz reads this and times up this back cut perfectly. Let me rewind that. That was a little glitchy. But as soon as he sees his defender takes his eyes off him and then commits to recovering back to the corner, Franz is back cutting, and his defender has no chance. I believe that was Kevin Knox at recovering. Now, his shot is where the offensive question kind of lies at this point, because he shot it really, really poorly last year. Actually, a lot worse last year in year 3 compared to year 2. He was, I'm getting the exact numbers here, I believe he was like 26% from 3 last season on 4.6 attempts per game, which is obviously pretty bad. But the year before, he was 36.1% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. So it was a weird dip, but I don't buy the dip because Franz has great touch around the rim. He's consistently been an 85% free throw shooter, and mechanics look good, right? The percentages were good every year before last year, and there are these clips where not only can he just hit normal spot ups, but where he's hitting legit step backs and off the dribble shots. This is a nasty step back. Again, I know he's not the burstiest guy downhill, but I do like his deceleration, because he decelerates at the perfect time. It's less about his momentum moving forward, and it's more about he times it up perfectly for when to step back, when to hit a euro, when to decelerate in general. And this is perfectly timed on Deni Avdija, who's quietly one of the better defenders in the league. Look at all the space he creates, and he's able to hit that shot with relative comfort. And again, this is him attacking off the dribble, puts his defender in a bit of a bind, gives him a little shoulder bump, which isn't illegal. That's not an offensive foul, but it does send his momentum backwards. Franz immediately recognizes this and says, hey, I can just decelerate right now. I'm going to have an open 3. I'm comfortable hitting this off the dribble. So I think it's more of a consistency thing right now. Just needs to find his groove. He had a bit of a down season. He'll never be an elite shooter. He doesn't have like the quickest release. He's not going to shoot movement shots. But moving forward, is this a reliable spot up guy that can hit shots off the dribble, like step backs and whatnot? Absolutely. I absolutely still believe in the shot with Franz, and that makes him a legit 3-level scorer. And I didn't even touch up on the free throw stuff, but he's very efficient at the line, and he gets to the line about, I think his free throw rate was 29% last year, so not an elite foul drawer, but certainly very good, and somebody that can handle contact when attacking downhill. So now let's talk about his defense, okay, just to round out this whole thing. Defensively, very, very good. I was very high on Franz as a prospect. I think I had him 6th or top 5 on my big board in the 2021 draft, and he was my false ceiling pick. Because everybody said Franz was like capped out, would be a role player at best, and I said he had legit star equity. And one of the reasons I said that is I thought he had Defensive Player of the Year type upside. I don't quite believe that anymore. I think if there's one thing I overrated, it was his defense a little bit, but he is still very, very good on this end. He's crazy versatile as an on-ball defender. Like here, he's on Kyle Kuzma. He's able to stay attached, cut off that original drive, stays down on any, fakes and whatnot, and then he's able to contest when the shot clock runs low. So he's just with Franz, it's because he has crazy length, strength. He's able to absorb contact. He's very smart. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I'll let the clips play out, but DeMar kind of loses his dribble here. DeMar's great in the mid-range with the face-ups, but Franz, again, utilizing his body, kind of cuts DeMar off and forces him baseline, where there's no shot DeMar can get off here, right? You're forcing DeMar to take a very bad angle. Now he's making a weird jump pass out to the perimeter, and that's basically a possession resetter as Franz completely cut everything off. There's no mid-range pull-up that DeMar can get into that he loves. DeMar's not getting a good angle to attack the hoop. Again, look at that. Look at him absorb the contact on this drive and force him into a terrible angle. I like the hand-eye coordination too. This was in the postseason against Donovan Mitchell. Look at him time this strip up perfectly. Donovan Mitchell's got a great handle too. Hardly ever gets stripped going to the basket. But this is just timed up perfectly. Quick hands, great hand-eye coordination. And this is the last clip. Franz, there's open room for Terrence Mann to pull up here. I don't mind Franz opening his hips up early because Terrence Mann's not a very good pull-up shooter. I think in this situation, I'm really just worried about Mann attacking downhill. So I'm okay with Franz giving up some cushion and opening his hips up early. Plus, he's able to recover very well. And look at him cut that drive off. Again, utilizing his body. This is a big mistake defenders make. A lot of guys olay, and they'll open up their hips and give up the lane. Franz has a very strong, sturdy frame, and he's willing to put it on the line, use it, and cut off driving lanes. And when paired with his length, when paired with good lateral quickness for his size, when paired with great hand-eye coordination and being very smart, Franz is just an extremely versatile on-ball defender and a very reliable team defender as well. So this dude, I think a lot of people call Franz a jack of all trades, and I think that's actually doing him a bit of a disservice. Yes, Franz is good at pretty much everything at this point, right? Like, yeah, you could say the shooting. I mean, he did shoot 27% last year, so that's a bit of an issue. You could say he's not the most athletic in the world. I would also agree with that, and I think that holds his ceiling back just a little bit, right? But when I look at it, he's good or elite at everything. So his elite skills are the slashing, the finishing, the handle for his size, the ultimate feel for the game, his ability to cut, his on-ball defense. And then he's very good at rebounding. He's very good at... I still think the shot is there, or he will be a very good shooter in the years to come. He's a really nice team defender. He's a really nice passer. You can use him as a screener. So he does everything at a good to elite level. He can be used as a pick and roll ball handler. He's so versatile. He has a role in every sort of action. And ultimately, I think right now he's a top 40 player at 22 years old. Averaged nearly 20 points per game last year on about 57% true shooting. And again, that was on a down year from three-point land. 67.5% at the rim last year, even though he was top 15 in attempts at the rim, and the Magic had really shitty spacing. I don't know, I could just go on and on. I think Franz has been awesome. Probably the Magic's best player over the past 2 years. I think he could easily be a top 25, potentially all-NBA guy in the future. And committing to him and Paulo just makes sense to me. I don't know, what's the other option, right? Those two have shown enough promise and enough growth at their age to suggest they have a very, very high ceiling as a duo together, and it's one that the Magic absolutely have to invest in.